To some extent, zero also does make sense. In fact, when we are counting, zero doesn't really come in handy when we're counting something. But yes, it is applicable in our day-to-day life when we say, "Oh, I had, I had, let's say, 100 bucks, and 100 bucks were taken away from me, or I lost it, or something. Now I have 0 bucks, right?" So zero does make sense. But what sense do negative numbers make? Why are we even talking about them in the first place? Yeah. Yes, Siba? Yeah, just think about it. Have you ever heard of any negative number in your day-to-day life?
Yeah,
Yeah, where?
like if we are, for example, if we are rating something
Hmm.
and we are rating it out of 10 and we don't like the thing at all, so we rated -1, -2, and stuff.
I couldn't really hear you. Your voice was a little bit low. Can you speak up a little louder?
When we are rating something out of 10
Okay.
and we don't like that thing at all, so
Hmm.
we rated like -1, -2, and all.
Okay. All right. Well, you are kind of right. So there are different types of rating systems. Okay. So like if you're buying something online and you rate something from 1 to 5, okay, or if you're rating something from 1 to 10. Usually when you're buying something online, it's rating from 1 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or even if you're reviewing apps on the app store, so you have like, if it's a 1 star, that means it's worst. 2 star means like, okay, it's pretty bad. 3 stars is like average. 4 stars is good, and 5 is excellent, right? So
Yeah.
when we're saying it's only when we want to rate something as very bad, as like awful, we didn't like it at all, then we say it's only 1 star. We don't go to 0 stars because there is no concept of 0 stars in that, right, in rating. But yeah, as you are saying, there are some rating systems where you can rate them from -10 to +10. Okay, so -10 is awful. Okay, it's like the worst thing imaginable, and 0 in between is like average, and +10 is excellent, right? Okay, so that's one way. Can you think of any other places where you can see negative numbers?
No.
Okay, Hiba, have you ever heard about the temperature in Antarctica?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? Do you know how much it is? The temperature during daytime? What is the daytime temperature in Antarctica? Can you just Google it quickly?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you repeat?
The daytime temperature in Antarctica.
-10.
-10 degrees. Okay, do one thing. Google it like this. You can search the internet like this. What is the daytime temperature? Daytime temperature in Antarctica in Celsius. Okay, Celsius.
-49 Celsius.
Okay, daytime temperature in, just a minute. I'll just note it down. Okay, in Antarctica. Oops. Okay, you said it's -49 degrees Celsius. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you now Google what is the nighttime temperature in Antarctica?
Okay. In Celsius?
Yes, in Celsius.
Minus 34.4 Celsius.
Are you sure about this? Okay. Let me just confirm this because I think there might be something.
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me just see what my search result shows up.
Minus
So,
55 Fahrenheit.
okay, I just want to see it in Celsius. Okay, so just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so the daytime temperature it's saying is minus. Okay, just a sec. Okay, so it's saying it ranges from -10 to -60. So let's say it's -60. Okay, and now let's search the nighttime temperature. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say this is -49 degrees, and let's say this is -60 degrees. Okay, because it's ranging. There's a range for it. Okay. Now do you see negative numbers coming up somewhere over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you tell me which one is colder? Which is colder?
Minus 49.
Okay. Hiba, so can you tell me what is the boiling point of water? Do you know? What does this mean? This means that, okay, so we have a thermometer, right? We have a thermometer. It looks like this. And have you ever measured your temperature, Hiba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you use a thermometer to measure temperature, right? Now the thing is, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So if there's something, if water is exposed to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it starts boiling. Whereas there's something called the freezing point of water. Okay, and that means that at what temperature does the water start freezing? Okay, it turns into ice. Okay, and that is 0 degrees
0
Celsius.
Celsius.
Yeah, exactly. So um if this, now can you tell me whether this is hotter or whether 100 degrees Celsius is hotter or 0 degrees Celsius?
100.
100. So that means the more positive we go, the hotter it is, and the more, towards, so if I'm talking about it in this terms, so if my temperature is like this is my 0 degrees, and when you go up, this is 100. And as you go down, you start going into negative. So let's say -100 is going to be over here. Are you getting it? So let's mark this on this number line. So if this is -49 degrees Celsius, it's going to be somewhere over here, right? Can you tell me where will -60 degrees Celsius be? Will it be over here in this blue part, right? Somewhere over here, or will it be somewhere over here in the green part?
It will be on the green part.
Yeah, excellent. So this will be over here, -60 degrees Celsius. So now can you tell me which one is colder?
It's, minus 60 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, okay, that is colder. So this is one place where we use integers, where you use negative numbers, is when we're talking about temperature. Okay. And all right, so one thing that we can do is think about another scenario. How about have you ever been to the beach, Shiva?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say you have a beach. Okay, I'm just going to draw it over here like this. So you have a beach. This is a mountain that is right next to the beach. Looks like a very ugly mountain. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and this is like the land. So I'm looking at it from a side view. Okay, and over here you have the sea. So from here the sea starts, and this is like a line or something. All right. And okay, so this whole thing is the sea. Just a minute. Oops. Yeah. So this whole thing is the sea. And so this is our beach, and that on the left is our mountain. Okay. So Hiba, if I say, have you ever heard of these terms above sea level
Yeah.
and below sea level? What does that
Yeah.
mean? Hmm?
But like I never understood these questions.
Ah, you never understood what does above sea level and below sea level means. It's okay. So you see, what happens is when we're talking about measuring distances on the earth, right? Measuring horizon, measuring distances that are, height and depth. When we're measuring height and depth. So see, if you're measuring distances between two cities,
Yeah.
are you measuring height and depth over there, or are you just measuring length?
Length.
Length, right? So you see, when there's we live in a three-dimensional world, right? When a car is going from one point to another point, we are just moving, we either moving um, forward or backward, right? What are the um, directions you can move in on a road? You can go, imagine yourself sitting in a car. Okay, you can either go front, back, left, or right. You can't go up. You
Yeah.
can't, unless you have a flying car, you can't go up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So up and down, that is the direction of height and depth. So when you're standing on land, this is actually, this whole thing, I'm just gonna color it with red. This whole thing is called our sea level. Okay, this is called our sea level. And what role does the sea level serve? This is basically just the zero. When we, in a number line, we draw a zero, and from zero, like you say, to the right of zero, all numbers are, what are they? To the right
Positive.
of zero, they are positive, exactly. And to the left of zero, all numbers are
Negative.
negative. Yes. So just a sec. So let me just say this is an imaginary line that I'm drawing. Okay. So let's just say this is zero over here. So what I'm saying is, as I move above, so if I say, let's say there is an airplane over here. Okay. There's an airplane over here. I don't know how to draw an airplane. My drawing isn't very good. Okay. So I
Okay.
know this doesn't look like an airplane. Okay. Something. So let's say that's an airplane. And so if you've ever been in a flight before, they say we are 20,000, or we are 20,000 meters above sea
The
level.
sea level.
Yeah, they say that, right? Above sea level. So what that means is, see, the land can be different, it can be of different uh, heights. For example, if your flight, or if the captain in your airplane says that we are 1 kilometer above 1 kilometer, let's say he says we are 1 kilometer above land. He says we are 1 kilometer above land. If he can just say that, right? He doesn't have to say sea level. Why is he referring to a sea over there? But the thing is, if he says we are 1 kilometer above land, at different places, the land is of different heights. Like at some places, you'll have, the land is elevated. Okay, so at some places, you have plateaus, right? In some places, you have, valleys. In some places, you have plains. In some places, you have mountains. So 1 kilometer above land, this is also land, and this is also land. So 1 kilometer above which land? So you don't really know your exact position. But when you say 1 kilometer above sea level, then your position, that, okay, the sea level throughout is going to be, one is going to be the same. So because the sea level isn't going to be like, okay, so over here it's like this, and somewhere else it's going to be like this or something, right? It's not going to be like that. Did you understand?
Yeah.
Did you understand why we refer to sea level when we're talking about height of aircraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let me just erase this one. Just a sec. All right. So let's say you have an airplane over here, and the airplane is dropping some supplies from here, like through a rope or something. The airplane is dropping some supplies to a submarine. Have you ever seen a submarine in like documentaries or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say this is our submarine. So the airplane is dropping some supplies to the submarine, and we want to know what is the distance between the submarine and the airplane. All that you know is that the airplane is 1,500 meters above sea level. Okay. And the submarine is 2,300, let's say, meters below sea level. What is the distance between them?
Can I find and say?
Sorry?
Can I find and say?
Yeah, sure.
Three 3,800
Yes.
meters.
Yeah, that's right. So it's 3,800 meters. That's the distance between the airplane and the submarine. Exactly. Now, if we are to denote this, we say that, okay, the airplane, or we can say the height of the airplane, is positive 1,500 meters. Okay. And the height of, or position, you can say position of the submarine, what do you think it will be? If this is positive, what will the submarine's height or position be?
Negative.
Yeah, it will be negative 2,300 meters. Because if you were to write positive 2,300, then that would become, that means it is even above the airplane, which isn't true. So yeah, it is negative 2,300 meters. Okay. So do you see how we are contrasting two different heights, that we are saying one is in positive and the other is in negative? So the next time someone asks you, well, what does it mean by the position of something is in negative, or the height of something, some object is in negative, so what does that mean? Will you be able to tell them?
Can you repeat the question?
So the next time someone asks you what does it mean when we say the height of something is in negative? What will you say?
Like below.
It is below sea level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, See, so this is one specific example of us measuring distances. But in general, where we use negative numbers or integers is when we are saying that if you move in one particular direction, if I move, so I tell you, Hiba, see, I'm standing at this position, okay? This is known as my mean position. Mean position means average position, or my normal position. I'm standing over here, and I tell you, Hiba, if I move to the right, please count that as positive distance.
Positive.
Okay. And if I am moving to the left, please count that as a negative distance. So now, Hiba, I'll just have like a small activity for you. So let's say you are standing over here. Okay. You're standing here and you are moving. So just write this down. Okay. You have moved 5 meters in the positive direction. So this is your mean position. You have moved 5 meters in the positive direction. So let's make a number line. And I hope you're doing this along with me.
Yeah.
Make a number line. Okay. All right. Just a minute. Okay. So you have moved, this is 0. Let's call this 0. You have moved 5 meters in the positive direction. So where have you come now? Let's say this is 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have come here. You have reached here. Okay. Now, Hiba, you have moved 7 units in the negative direction. Can you tell me
Okay.
where will you reach now?
-7.
So basically, where is Hiba right now? So Hiba started from here. Okay. Hiba started from
Okay.
here. Let's say, just a sec. Okay.
-2.
Very good. Excellent. So just a minute. Let's say this pink pink ellipse is Hiba. Okay. And she has moved 5 meters in the positive direction. So then she came to 5. Okay. Then what happened to Hiba? She came over here. Okay. Now Hiba is moving 7 meters, 7 meters in the negative direction. So now where does Hiba end up?
7 units to the left.
Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is Hiba's position now? -2,
-2.
right? -2. So now Hiba is at -2. So now if I say again, Hiba is moving 3 units in the negative direction. Where does she end up now?
-5.
Yeah, -5. So she ends up over here. Just a sec. -5. Okay, now if Hiba moves 10 units, or let's not make it 10, let's make it 9. If Hiba moves 9 units in the positive direction, where does she end up now? 9 units in the positive direction.
+6.
9 units in the positive direction. Just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right?
+4.
Yes, +4. So Hiba is now at positive 4. So how can we calculate that? How can we calculate that? See, what we do is basically, where were you standing right before this, Hiba?
-5.
Yes, you were standing at -5. So just a second. This is right. Okay, so you were standing at -5. So you were standing over here, right? -5, and then you moved in which direction? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. And how many units did I ask you to move?
9.
9. So what is -5 plus 9 again? We have already done these kind of things. Remember? How do we do this?
It will be -5
Yeah.
-5 -9.
No, why would it be -9? So how can you change the sign of any number? This is already +9, right? How can you change its sign? So -5 is as it is.
5 -9.
Nope. Think again. Can you just, how about we take it like this? We say +9 -5. I'm not doing anything. I just changed its position over here and I changed its position over here. I just swapped their positions. So +9 is over here and -5 is over here. So is this fine? Can I write it like this?
Yeah.
So what does it become now?
Are you doing distributive properties here?
This is commutative property.
But I didn't understand distributive property.
You didn't understand distributive property.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a second. So distributive property, if we're talking about distributive property in terms of negative numbers, so it comes like this, okay? All right, let's go to a new page. All right, so Hiba, let's say I have -1 and I'm multiplying that with 5 plus, just a sec, 5 plus 3. So can you do this in the distributive property manner? What happens over here? Okay, so just a second. Before we go to negative, let's just revise what
-1.
is. Yeah, -1.
5.
Multiplied with 5. Next,
-1 multiplied by 3.
-1 multiplied by 3. And what sign should be between, or just a sec. Let me just
Minus.
just a sec, Hiba. I will just change the colors of these. So -1 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5. And then there's -1 multiplied by 3. Okay. And you said the sign between them should be what?
And minus.
Just a minute. I will make things a little bit easier for you. Yeah. So Hiba, distributive property, we have gotten our this -1. Okay. So we are making a checklist: -1, -1, and -1. Done. That part is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. The -1 is fine. Now what about 5? So 5 is over here and 5 is over here. So that part is also fine. Okay.
Yes.
Now 3 is inside the bracket over here and 3 is inside the bracket over here. That part is also fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what happens to this plus sign? Where does it go?
In the between.
In between what?
minus 1 multiplied 5
Yeah.
plus minus 1 multiplied 3.
Yes. So now are you clear about what sign comes where?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's just quickly solve this further. So minus 1 multiplied by 5, what does that become? Hmm? Heba, minus 1 multiplied by 5. So it's, okay. Heba, what is 1 multiplied by 5?
5
What is 1 multiplied by minus 5? Hmm?
is the one positive.
Yes, the one in this case, in this example, is positive.
It is going to be minus 5.
Yes, this is minus 5. Okay. How about if if I change this like this? If it's minus 1 multiplied by 5, what does it become now?
Minus 5
Yes. And why is it minus 5?
because uh, plus plus and negative is negative, and negative and plus is negative.
Yeah. Right. So when you add, or when you're talking about multiplication, and throughout the multiplication, if there is one negative sign, then it makes the whole calculation negative. Okay. Remember how we gave an example of it? We've already seen that example like 2 times. So
When two negative integers are added, we get a negative integer.
yeah, but over here I'm talking about multiplication, right? So if you're talking about, let's say, minus 1 multiplied by minus 5, so there are two negative signs. So what does it become? Do you remember? Negative sign multiplied by a negative sign, what does it become?
Plus,
Yes, it becomes a positive sign, because once again I will give you the same example that I gave, or maybe let's just give a different example. So the word no, okay, is negative. Let's just take it over here. So negative multiplied by positive, what does the resultant sign give us? If there's a
negative.
negative and there's a, yeah, it's negative. Why is it negative? Because because if you have a negative, I'm just giving you an example of this, okay? Like, this is a trick of remembering it, is that if you have a negative word, let's say no, and a positive word, let's say, just give me any positive word.
Good.
No good. Okay, so we've already taken that example. Or if I say, um
Excellent.
mm, sorry.
Excellent.
Okay, so if I say not, okay, not is a negative word, and if I take a positive word, which is, let's say,
Yes.
beautiful, okay,
Beautiful.
all right. So beautiful is a positive word, but the moment a negative word gets multiplied with it, you know, the moment a negative word comes in front of it, the whole meaning of this phrase becomes negative, right?
Yes.
But if you say, something is not ugly, does that mean you are saying something positive about that object, or are you saying something negative about that object?
Positive.
You're saying something positive, even though you have two negative words, but still the meaning of what you're saying comes out to be positive. Why? Because both of them are negative, and when two negative things are multiplied with each other, what does it
We get
become? It becomes
positive.
positive. So it's like the same, and this happens only in multiplication, remember that. Okay, so we were over here. Now can you tell me what is this much? How much will it be? Hmm?
Wait.
this minus 1 multiplied by 5. How much will it be?
Minus 1 plus minus 3.
Just a minute. Hiba? See, pay attention that this is over here. This is minus 1 multiplied by 5, right? So what I'm asking you right now is what is minus 1 multiplied by 5? What is this? What does this become?
Minus 5.
Yes, minus 5. So can you tell me what will this be? This one, just the one in the square box.
Minus 5.
Yeah, that would be minus 5. And let's go further. Minus, just a minute. So the minus sign is coming because of the 1 and 5 is as it is, okay? Because 5 multiplied by 1 is 1 itself. Then can I just write down the positive sign as it is? Can I?
No.
Let me just write it
Yes.
down, okay? And then later we will see what to do about the signs. So now tell me, what is this term? What will it become?
Minus 3.
Yeah, it will be minus 3. The minus sign is coming because of the negative 1 and the 3 is as it is because 3 multiplied by 1 is 3 itself. So now what are you doing? You are basically adding minus 5 and minus 3. Okay. So can you tell me what will happen when you add minus 5 and minus 3? What will you get? Think about it. You have something negative, you have negative 5 and you have negative 3 and you are adding it. So what does it become? Yes.
Positive 2.
Okay. Hiba, let's take a look at it from the... Okay, can you tell me why will it be positive 2?
Because I don't know how to explain.
Um, just try. Why? How will this become positive 2?
I changed the symbols to negative, like from minus 5 and plus. I took minus and plus and I changed it to minus.
What became minus? I didn't exactly understand. Can you repeat that? Can you just repeat what you said?
I changed that minus 5 plus minus 3 into minus 5 minus minus 3.
But why will this plus sign suddenly become minus? That's my question. So you are saying what you have done is you did this, right? So you did this, and just tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Tell me if I understood your statement wrong. So what you've done is this: you've done minus 5 and this is minus 3, and you changed this to minus. This plus sign got changed to minus sign. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But how did that happen? And are these two ever going to be the same? If I say something is, if I say x plus y, and if I say x minus y, can I replace these two with each other? Can I replace x plus y with x minus y? Are they equal? So if the reason we replace something is when it is equal, right? So the reason we have been replacing, let's say we have been replacing minus 1 into minus 5 and we write that as plus 5, right? Because negative negative and this is equal to plus 5. Why do we replace it like that? Because it is equal to plus 5, right? But can when you're adding two things and then you're subtracting the same two things, can the result ever be equal?
No.
No. For example, if you have, if you have 7 plus 8, or not 8, 7 plus 4. What is 7 plus 4? And let's say over here on the other side, I have 7 minus 4. What is 7 plus 4?
11.
11. And what is 7 minus 4?
3.
3. So can I ever, if I have 7 plus 4 written somewhere in my equation, can I replace that? Can I just, throw away this positive sign and, enter a negative sign over here, uh, by replacing it? Can I do that? Will it be okay?
No,
It won't be okay. And why will it not be okay?
because the answer will change.
Yes, exactly. The answer will change. And because the value, so in math, when we're talking about numbers, we're basically talking about values, right? Just a sec. So the value of 7 plus 4 is very different from the value of 7 minus 4, right? Because plus and minus, they are different operators. Okay, you can't replace one with the other, right? So now can you tell me whether this step of ours was correct or was it wrong?
Was wrong.
It was wrong. Did you understand why it was wrong, Hiba?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you just repeat that?
because
Why
it
was it
will
wrong?
change the answer.
Yes, because we cannot replace. So these two are just the same, and -3, -5 is as it is, -3 is as it is, and we're just replacing plus with minus, and we can't do that because it's not the same thing, right? It's not the same thing. So I'm just going to erase all of this and let's see what we can do from here. What's the next step we can take from here? Is it clear till here? Whatever I've said till now? Yes, Hiba?
Yeah,
Okay. So since we are running out of time, like our class was only supposed to be of till of 1 hour, but I think you joined a little bit late. So do you want to continue till a complete 1 hour, or do you want to just end off over here itself after completing this question?
after completing this question.
Okay, you want to end it. All right. So Hiba, um, so there are two ways of doing this. Okay, there are two ways of approaching what we have in front of us right now: -5 plus -3. So there are two ways. One of them is more theoretical and one of them is more practical. So I'll just give you both of them and it's your wish, whichever you want to choose. Okay, so one way is to rewrite this as -5. And can you tell me, look at over here, just look at this thing. So this is positive sign and this is negative sign. And are they multiplied with each other? The positive sign and the negative sign. Between them, there is a, what is that?
Multiplication.
There is a bracket, right? And what does a
Yeah,
bracket mean?
multiplication.
Yes, bracket means multiplication. So the positive and the negative signs, they are apas mein, they are what? Multiplied, right?
Multiplying.
Yeah. And so can you look at over here and tell me that when a positive and negative sign are multiplied, what happens?
We get a negative.
We get a negative sign, exactly.
Negative.
So this sign becomes negative, right? This becomes a negative sign. These two are giving rise to a negative sign, and then 3 as it is. Can I write it down like that?
Yeah, but why can't we write it like -3?
I didn't get your question, Hiba. Can you repeat?
Why can't we write it as -5 minus -3?
Why can't we write it as -5 minus -3? Okay, I got your question. So Hiba, see, when we are replacing it, right? Let me just make some space over here. Yes. So now, Hiba, when we are replacing it, what are we replacing? So we are taking two things and we are replacing it with a third thing, right? We are taking this positive sign and this negative sign. What are we replacing it with?
Negative.
A negative sign. So in place of both of these, in place of both of these, I am going to have a negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove both of these. Okay. I'm going to, I'm just going to chuck them, and in
Uh,
their place,
we're going to replace it with a negative sign.
yes, we are going to replace that with a negative sign. What did we replace? We didn't replace the positive with a negative. We didn't replace, we didn't do that. What we did was let me just show it to you again. We replaced the positive plus negative. Is this combination. This combination is what we replaced. Okay. So this combination is what we replaced. We replaced the whole thing by minus. Okay, and why did we replace it with minus? You can see it over here.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Is your doubt cleared now, Hiba?
Yeah.
Pakka?
Yeah. I
Okay.
understand.
Okay, that's good. All right. So now what we have is we have this -5, -3. Now, do you remember in the previous lesson we discussed that if you are adding or subtracting two things, you have to first note the sign of both of those things. What are the signs? If both of them are negative, this is
It
one
will be
possibility.
positive.
Both of them are positive, that is one possibility. So basically the possibilities can be broadly categorized into two. You have two possibilities. One is both are the same sign, right? And the second possibility is both are of opposite signs, right? Yes, Heba?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just show you how that possibility exists. So if you have -5 plus 2, so over here, one sign is negative, one sign is positive. So they are both of opposite signs, right? So just tell me, in this case, they are both of the same sign or opposite? In this case,
Same.
same sign, right? So the rule of thumb is, if you have same sign, and I want you to note this down somewhere, big enough that you can see it and big enough that you can refer to it every time you get confused. And it's okay, because almost all students get confused in this. Okay, so this is like the theoretical way that I'm explaining. In the practical way, I'll explain just after this. Okay, so if they have the same sign, then you will add them.
Yeah.
Okay, if they have opposite signs, then you will subtract them, right? So when you add them, what you do is you put the sign of the bigger number. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They have the same sign, right? So the resultant will also have the same sign itself. Okay, the answer will have the same sign as the two numbers had. But if they are opposite signs, then you will ask yourself, well, both the numbers are having different signs. Which sign should I put for the answer? That becomes a question, doesn't it? So what do you do over there, Hiba?
Subtract.
Yeah, you subtract, but as for the sign, which sign will you put for the answer?
Bigger number.
Of the bigger number, exactly, you remember. Bigger number, okay, the sign of the bigger number. So now in this case, just tell me -5, -3. First of all, what will we do? Will we add them or will we subtract them?
Add.
Add them. Why will we add them?
Because they are same sign.
Very good. So we will add them. Okay, I'm gonna add them.
It's
5
going to
and
be
3 make
-8.
8. Very good. -8, because the same sign as the previous one. Excellent. Now let's just eraser.
Can we also put like for -5, -3, the answer will be -8. So we put the sign of minus because -5 is bigger.
Yeah, of course you can do that, because they both have the same sign, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's another way of thinking about it. Cool. Okay, Now the practical way of thinking about this, let's just go back to what we were having over here. Okay, over here you have, let me just choose a different color. This one has become boring. Yeah. So you have -5, okay, and you have -3, and you are adding them. Do you remember in the very first, on the very first day, what we did? We took these many red balls and then again these many red balls and then we added them. So if you tell me, you have -5 and then -3, okay, what will it become? Just if you just think about it, you have
Minus.
you have 5 of something that is negative, you have 5 negative things, and then you have 3 negative things, and then you're adding them. You are
Getting
combining
more
them.
negative.
Yes, more negative things. And how many? 5 negative things and 3 negative things. You're combining them. How many negative things do you have now?
-8.
Yes, you have 8 negative things, right? So that's why we'll write it as 8 and negative things. Did you get it? The practical approach to it. You can even use a number line if you want. Yeah. So if you're using the number line, what will happen is, let me just use some other color. There's too much black over here. Yeah. So if you're using the number line, let's say this is my 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. So what you're doing is you are standing at -5, right? You're starting from -5. And what you're doing, you're adding something negative to it. So which direction will you go in, left or right?
Left.
Left, because it is a negative thing that you are adding. So you go, how many units do you go in the left direction?
3 units to the left.
Yes, 1, 2, 3. So there you go. You have approached your destination. You have arrived at your destination, which is -8. So did you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were basically talking about this. So basically before you reached this +4, you were at -5, right? You were at -5. Then I asked you to move 9 meters to the right. So can you, without using the number line, can you tell me, if you calculate this, can you tell me where will you reach?
+4.
Why? How did you arrive at that answer?
Because first we have to
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes, Hiba?
like I did it on a number line.
Okay. So without using the number line, can you tell me? Because we've already done stuff like that over here, right? See, we've already done the addition and everything. So just tell me, without using the number line, if you calculate them. Okay, take a look, or you can take some help from this. Just a minute. You can take some help from this. Just a minute.
Because they are of different signs, we have to
Yes.
subtract them.
Very good. So because they are of different sign, we will subtract them. Okay. So subtract them. So when you subtract, Hiba, what do? You take the bigger number and then you subtract the smaller number from it. So what do you do? 9 minus 5?
4.
What will you do?
9 minus 4.
9 minus 5. 9 minus
9 minus 5.
Which is 4. Okay. So this becomes 4, and which sign will come next to it?
Minus. Sorry, positive.
Positive.
Because 9 is bigger.
Yes. That is one way of thinking about it. And Hiba, another way, a quicker way of doing this is, if the bigger number is positive, think about it, okay? If the bigger number is positive, then what you can do is just swap their positions. Because if you say -5 and, or let me just change this color really quick, -5 and plus 9. Okay. If you say this, or you say plus 9 minus 5, is it the same thing or is it different?
It is the same thing.
It's the same thing, right? So that's what I have done over here. I have just swapped their positions. Minus 5 plus 9. I have just written it as 9 minus 5, which is nothing but equal to 4. And we know that. We already know that 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hiba, now I'm just going to give you some homework questions. I think I did give you in the previous lesson, but the network, there was a lot of network issues, so I couldn't give you, questions properly. So let's just do this. Okay. Here are some homework questions, and I really hope you will complete them by the next class. And just tell me your answers, and try to show me your calculation also if possible. Here are the questions. Minus 32 plus 64. I hope you're noting this down.
Yeah. Why do we put brackets?
Where? Okay, why do we put brackets over here? Are you talking about these places?
Yeah.
Okay, we put brackets over there because if I don't put a bracket, what does it become? It becomes 43 plus minus 44. So it doesn't really, I mean, it feels like there's something missing. It feels like, there should be something separating the two signs. Getting it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the reason. There should be something separating the two signs. Are you done? Till where have you done writing?
9.
Okay. Okay. That's all. 10 questions. Done?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I hope you can complete all of these by the next lesson. And I would like to also see your calculations if that is possible. We'll see how we can go about for that. So until next class. All right. See
Okay.
ya.
But if I have a doubt in some questions, can we do in the next class?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Definitely we'll do that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll see ya, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum Assalam.